Recording in session.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be joining you again and leave it to the chef. Um, Today's recipe is called Harira, and Harira is a very famous Moroccan soup, and mostly cooked year round, especially during winter time. But it is most popular during Ramadan month. It's a must in Moroccan households during Ramadan, especially when we break the fasting. And it's usually served with shidbakia, which is a special kind of energy cookie. That helps. I mean, you break the fasting with a date, but then you eat this special cookie and special almond spring rolls along with a bowl of harira. Um,
I just became really, really hungry. So, um,
oh,
this to me feels like a winter stew, but they don't have winter in Morocco, right?
we do have winter in Morocco. It gets very cold in a lot of regions. It can be even 0 degrees Celsius, which is about 13 Fahrenheit, something like that. Other region, I mean, we have snow, we have mountain, we have um, Atlas Mountain, which is the most popular in north of Africa, and it extends from Morocco to Algeria and a little bit to Tunisia. Um, But yeah, we do have mountains, we do have snow, we do have regions with very cold weather. And most of the regions that are pretty warm are when you go further south, close to the Sahara. It's where it's a little warm, but still it's not hot. It's not like Florida here, so it's pretty.
Like,
No, so we
okay.
have the 4 seasons, for sure. Let me just fix the camera. It's yellow colored. Okay. So we will need chickpeas and chickpeas. I have it frozen. But chickpeas you need to soak it in water a day before or a night before if you're using dried chickpeas. Otherwise, you can use canned chickpeas and it's fine. In my case, I soak them in water overnight and then I freeze them. We have celery as
Can you
well.
turn off the fuzzy in the back?
I know, I've been trying to do that. Let me see how I
Okay,
can.
you click on the little arrow right next to the camera, and then choose virtual background.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I said I have
I
chickpeas.
was unsure of what kind of lentils you like.
Well, it doesn't
Um,
matter. I mean, it needs to be brown lentils.
okay, so I pull out. Look, I love orange lentils, red lentils. So I pulled that one out. So I'll have to look and see about brown lentils.
I mean, the lentils are not mandatory, but it depends on which region you're from. Then you add lentils or not. For example, in Fes, where I'm from, we don't put lentils, but people from Casablanca do, or from it depends which region you're from. And so, but I like again, it's not tree. It's just based on your
Okay,
um. But different lentils are
but
not
yeah, I
gonna
like
work.
red lentils a lot.
It's not really gonna work because they get mushy and so it's not gonna stay you know
Oh yeah,
the
the
right
red lentils disappear. So
exactly. So
yeah.
it's gonna melt down. Again, as I said, I have chickpeas that I soaked in water overnight a few weeks ago, and I had in the freezer. I do the same for my celery because otherwise it's gonna, go to waste. So I cut it, wash it, and put it in the freezer. So I have here about um, a big leaf of celery or a big, um, I mean, a big portion of it. And then I have a small onion Again, the portions varies based on how much, I mean, the amount of soup you want to make. So
Right.
it's just for my family, so I'm gonna make a portion that's gonna last for 2 or 3 days maximum. So I have a medium-sized onion that I cut in four. I have parsley and I have cilantro, and I have also here flour, tomato paste, some rice, and you can use any kind of rice you want. If you don't have rice, you can substitute by um, Mexican fideos or Mexican vermicelli. The Mexican vermicelli is like small. It's like spaghetti cut in very small pieces. Yeah.
Oh yeah, little short pieces.
Yes. So we need pepper and salt, of course. We will need a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of ginger powder, lentils, brown lentils. I use clarified butter or ghee. This is what we have here, but in Morocco we use clarified butter. This is also optional for people who don't want to use it or don't like the taste of it, or have to buy some.
I make my own if you want to order some. So
That's cool. Good to know. And what else? Then again, at the end, when everything is cooked and ready, you can add a scrambled egg into the soup. This is also optional. Not all the region in Morocco do that, but Casablanca, people in Casablanca, they definitely do. Um, the other thing that is not a must, but people do use it is Harira is it can be 100% vegetarian, as what we're gonna do today. It can be with beef or it can be with lamb, whatever you have. You cut it small pieces and you brown it with onion at the beginning of the process. So what I like to do, because I don't like to cry after cutting the onions, I put it in the food processor to just uh, cut it a little bit, and that start. It's how we're gonna actually start making soup. So I'm gonna take you with me to the other section. I'm gonna get you close. Um, we fix this. Okay. So I'm gonna start by putting my onion in the food processor. I'm gonna remove the sound because it's not funny to hear. Okay.
Zoom will mute it. Don't worry.
Zoom mutes the sound.
Loud. So you are blending the onion in the food processor, or chopping it up real fast.
Just to chop it up a little bit. You don't want it pureed or you don't want it to release water. You just want to chop it. It's like you're gonna cut it in small quarters or small pieces if you use a knife. It's just because I'm a little too lazy. I don't want to cry. I'm gonna use the food processor instead.
I've got that
What's
same
that, Fred?
small. I have that same one that you have, or.
Yep. Oops, I did something wrong. It's not spinning.
Again, and just enough for it to be, ready to use and to caramelize. It's small, diced small pieces, but instead of cutting it and food processor. We don't want the water because the water will give a better taste to the soup. Okay.
good. What am I doing wrong?
I think nothing like that.
It should just spin.
So I'm gonna take a pan and reheat a little bit of oil, like about a tablespoon of oil. That's not regular.
All right, a tablespoon of oil.
Just a little bit of oil, and then you wait a few seconds just for it to warm up a little bit.
What temperature? Like just mid or hot, very hot?
It's on low. You can put it on, between medium and low, just for it to warm up a little bit, as I said. Now I'm trying to connect also from my computer so I can see you while I'm. Okay.
I think it's not working good.
Maybe
You
could be
can use it at night. Just as I said, just to avoid tears. I did it through the food processor. I'm gonna connect also via my computer, so please accept my invite. Otherwise, now that it's started, just a little bit of oil, as I said, a big tablespoon. So now I'm going to put the onion on my pan, and we're gonna caramelize. If you have, cubes of lamb or beef, please add it at the same time with the onions. Or if you can't accept my invitation, I'm connected to my computer as well. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
I'm mute. Okay. All right, so right now what we need to mix something.
So the lamb just needs to be in like cubes, right?
What did you say?
You have to, on your laptop, mute the sound and the mic and the sound output of it.
I did.
Okay.
I did now. Okay. So I was saying now I need to start, caramelizing onions. As you see here, it's finely chopped, so I just have to caramelize. If you have meat, please add it. Harira does not marry with chicken, so just stick to the beef or lamb. It will give way better outcome at the end and a better taste. Just increasing. Yes.
Is the oil that you use, is this where you're using the ghee or is this just cooking oil?
Just a normal cooking oil, not olive oil, just vegetable oil or canola oil, whatever you have. And I just put 1 tablespoon. This is just to caramelize the onion. And the ghee, most of the time we add it at the end. If you use a lamb instead of beef, you can skip the ghee because the taste is already strong enough. But it depends on personal taste as well. So I'm caramelizing the onions here. I increase the heat a little bit just to give it a nice color. And if you're cooking with meat too, and you afraid that the meat can take longer time to cook, you can start by browning the meat before adding the onion. And the meat, as I said, it should be cut small pieces, small cubes, very small cubes, in order for it to cook faster. Otherwise, it's not gonna cook at the same time with once the food is ready. You can use either, red onion or yellow onion, whatever you have available.
All right.
As far as for now, no spices will be added.
So my lamb had a bone. I put it in here but I'll take it out maybe.
Yes, you can take. I mean, you can take it out like in mid cooking because it will be tender enough. After that, you can cut it small pieces and put the meat back again in mid cooking of the soup.
Okay.
Yes.
So cook it halfway and then cut the bits off the bone.
Yes. And you can leave the bone because the bone will add more flavor. But for your meat to cook faster, along with the soup, it's better to detach the meat from the bone. But you can put the bone too back to the soup for extra flavor. So here my onion started caramelize actually and caramelize a little bit. So I don't want my onions to melt because when you use a food processor, it's not like when you cut it. So it melts quicker. So what I'm going to do now is to add chickpeas. Because sometimes they take longer to cook, so it's better to add them at the beginning.
So mine, I have canned ones. They're already cooked, but otherwise,
Yeah.
how long does it take the ones that are not canned to cook?
I mean, I put them at the beginning just to avoid, but at the end of, I mean, the recipe doesn't take a long time to be ready. So by the end of the hour of cooking, it's already cooked. So you can wait for yours to be added, but you can put lentils instead. Um, and the lentils, we don't put much. We just put like a palm of my hand like this. It just, or 2 palms, depends on how many you want. But usually it's not.
Oh, I thought you said pounds. Like you mean 2 handfuls, yeah?
Yes,
Okay, palm.
palm of my hand. So yeah, so I added the lentils and I just giving a stir to everything to incorporate it. And now I'm gonna, cover this with water. Not so much water though, just a little bit to make everything, mix together and incorporate the flavor together. So I'm just covered whatever we have, just a small 2 inches, and then I'm gonna let this go to a simmer a little bit. I'm gonna increase the heat, let it simmer. Meanwhile, I'm gonna grab more water, and yeah, and then we have to wait. So we have to chit chat a little bit.
So let's see. while we're waiting, I could cut up some other stuff. So.
Yeah, you can. You mean you're gonna pause the recording?
Let's see, cut up the celery.
Chop your vegetables, yes. Yes, we can do that, definitely. So for the celery and the parsley and coriander, I mean, again, you can chop it very, that's, you can chop it. I like to put things into the food processor. And the reason is, and the reason is, when I put it in the food processor, I really, try to cut it as thin or as, fine as I can in order for it to release the water. I like that because that water adds a very good flavor in the food. So I'm grabbing here graphics. So I'm grabbing here a bouquet of cilantro. See, I'm putting it here, and make sure that your cilantro amount is higher than the parsley, because it just cilantro give enhanced flavor and elevated. So I'm also cilantro, parsley here, and the celery as well. You can, chop each one of them separately, but I'm like, since they will be in the same pot, I don't see the need for that.
Do you put the stems of the parsley and cilantro in?
Yes, you can. Yes, I put like a big chunk of the stem too. It has a strong flavor.
So you don't waste any of it.
Especially the cilantro, because it's thinner and it gives enhance the flavor to the The parsley is the most, delicate and sometimes hard to chop. You're gonna do it using a knife. I'm gonna start the process here. Let me distribute.
All right. So you're just trying to chop it as small as possible, yeah? Now, do we put it all in right now, or?
No, don't put it on. Right now, I was waiting for my water that I put in the with the onion and the lentils to start boiling. Now that it is.
Okay.
Now that it is.
Yeah, I have induction cooker. It starts boiling almost immediate. It's amazing.
All right, that's good. So now that mine started boiling and it's hot enough, I will add tomato paste, about a big tablespoon, like full. If you have a small can, like, not yet. If you have a small can like this, about half of it.
Okay, I'm doubling it, so I will need.
It always depends. It always depends on the amount you're making.
Right.
I have tomato paste in the tube, so you don't have to waste any.
That's good. That's good. And now I'm going to add half of the amount of parsley, coriander, and celery that we just chopped. About half. See how it releases water when it's chopped in the food processor? And I like that because it adds extra flavor and the flavor is stronger of the green. So I left a little bit like.
And you don't have to cook it so long that way, yeah?
Either. So I'm leaving here about 2 tablespoons. Okay. And these 2 tablespoons gonna be utilized at the end of the process, not now, to add freshness to the soup. be waiting.
So save a little bit for decoration and freshness right at the end.
No, that's decoration. It's another step at the end of the process of making the soup. It will help, give freshness to the taste, that the greens are fresh. So now I'm everything.
So you have everything in now?
Yes, I have the lentils, I have the tomato paste, I have the celery, coriander, and parsley. And parsley and coriander really need to be finely chopped, and celery as well. So now it's thicker. I'm adding water, and I'm gonna keep pouring until.
In the end, you want this to be very liquidy?
No, it's gonna be in between. You will see. So what I
Okay.
do here, my measurements, for example, for me for this pan, is I rise the water to be close to those screws for the handles. And it says when I do that, this is an amount that stays with me for 2 to 3 days based on the family size.
Yeah, she added enough water to cover up everything in the pot.
Well, also the lentils will drink a lot of that.
So I'm adding more water here.
You haven't put your chickpeas in yet, have you?
I did.
No, my chickpeas are already cooked, so I was putting later.
Yes,
So
I said if they were soaked overnight and frozen, you need to put them after you caramelize your onion and meat, and add the first batch of water. If they were canned, then you can wait until the middle of the process, which is after the boil of this process now that we just did. So do you have
Okay.
frozen chickpeas, or you have canned, or you have which one? Lulu.
I have canned.
I have canned chickpeas, and I think I've been in a show like this before where I didn't have the exact right lentils. I have the split pigeon peas or dal or green lentils. And the green lentils say they cook in about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
green lentils are fine. You can put the green lentils.
Green lentils will hold their shape better.
So
But
as you
I think
see,
for this
it's
one, ideally, you want the French or Italian lentils.
yeah. So as you see now, it's very liquidy. And so what I have to do is just cover everything up. Let it simmer again.
Now, I didn't put any spices in.
As far as for now, we didn't put any spices. We put the spices when we do the mix. I will mix in the middle where you add flour, and it's when you add your spices. As far as for now, you just want the herbs and the greens to release their flavor into the soup.
And you just want slow simmer now, yeah?
Yes, now you need to add tomato paste.
Add more tomato paste?
Because it looks like it's oh, you didn't mix it. Did you mix it?
Me?
Because it looks a little yellow for me.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The tomato paste is still a little clumpy. I need to.
Yeah.
There you go. And I have the chunk of bone for my lamb.
Yeah, you can wait for it until before ending the process, and you can just, take it out, chop it up, and put it back. But as far as now, you need to cover everything and let it cook.
Should I let it come to a simmer before I
Yes, you need to let it cook and you know and simmer before we go to the next step.
All right.
It really needs to boil, so you can increase the heat. That's okay.
And then I
And
have some parsley and cilantro and celery chopped up for the end.
yes, it needs to be finely chopped. Though. You know why I'm saying it to be finely chopped? Because at the end, it's at the end we added like 5 minutes before the end, so they will not have time to cook. So they need to be finely chopped to really melt quickly into the soup.
Okay. My pasta. All right. What's next?
So as far as for now, we need to simmer.
I need
Yeah.
some flour. Yeah.
You need flour. You will need ginger. You will need cinnamon, salt, pepper.
All right.
Bring a bowl. You will need a bowl, which I will bring too.
I forgot to take a picture of everything beforehand. Oh well. I still need flour. Get some flour out. I think it's in this bucket.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're gonna make a roux with the flour.
It is what we're gonna do, but not the traditional way you do it. It's a different approach.
All right. All right. I got my flour. I got some
Okay.
spelt flour because it's low in gluten for me.
So I have my bowl here. Let me grab this and put it closer here. I have my bowl. I need more water. I need a spoon, flour, cinnamon, ginger powder, salt, and pepper. So as far as for now, it depends on the amount of soup you have. If you have about, let's say 1 liter soup, you will need about 3 big or like 3 tablespoons of flour. You will add a lot of black pepper. I mean, and again, on how spicy, like usually the soup is not spicy, but it needs to have a good amount of black pepper. Salt. You need to put a pinch of cinnamon. The cinnamon is just for an extra flavor. It's not to give sweetness uh, to the soup. So you need to be very careful when you put the cinnamon. It's about a pinch.
So I've got this set of measuring spoons that literally it says, someone gave me these little stainless steel measuring spoons. This one says a smidgen, a tad, a dash, and a pinch.
A pinch. Well, for me, you know
There
how
you go.
much I did put? Do you see the brown here? Really a little bit of cinnamon.
Right. So I did 2 pinches because I'm doubling the recipe.
All right. So then for the ginger, I'm putting a head of a spoon, not much either. And then there is people who like to add saffron. If you have saffron, you can add it too. It gives extra flavor. I don't have natural saffron, so it doesn't make sense for me to add it just for the color. So I'm mixing
You could add
those.
some turmeric then, yeah?
No, because it's no saffron is for the flavor. It's not for the color. But it's
Oh,
definitely,
okay.
yeah, it definitely changes the color of the soup. It makes it more lighter and more orangey.
Oh, I
Then
forgot. How much flour? I didn't put any flour in.
Like 3 tablespoons.
three tablespoons. Since you are doubling the amount, you start by putting 4 or 5, and if you feel like you need more, then you can. So now I mix everything in here. I have something extra that I don't think you do have. This is a Harira mix, or you can find it at the international grocery. I like to add that. It balances, I feel like, the taste. Um, but still, it's the same. What we did here is a mix of ginger, cinnamon. Uh, I think they have a little saffron on it. So I'm just gonna add a little bit here to my mix. But as far as for now, what we did so far is
All
what
right.
not.
So how much did you put?
Go ahead.
Oh, just a little bit of this one too, yeah?
Yeah, just a little bit. Small spoon, coffee table, coffee size.
So I have saffron. Do you just put a few threads in?
Yes, you can put a few threads in. So my soup started simmering. So for the mix we have, I'm gonna add water and start mixing until I have not a too thick paste and not too liquid either.
So are we just going to use this to thicken the soup, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But you need to make sure that there is no crumbles of flour.
So you added some of the liquid from the soup?
No, as far as for now, I just added normal water.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But we need to make sure there is no crumbles to avoid to have it on the soup. So as far as for now, it's just cold water because if you add boiling water, it's the flour absorbs, and we don't want the flour to absorb. We need to have a paste. We want to have a paste. And then a little bit more of ginger. I'm mixing everything to make sure it's all incorporated and there is no crumbles.
And you were just mixing it to your heart's flavor, yeah?
Yes, you can add whatever you feel like you wanna, add more of it.
And
In
did
terms of
you put
spices,
salt
except for
in
the
this?
cinnamon. I did put salt, yes, salt,
Okay.
pepper, ginger, a pinch of cinnamon. So my, paste is ready. As you can see, it's thick, but not, it's creamy. It's not thick as a paste and it's not liquidy. So it's creamy enough. So it's going to be incorporated easily. As far as for now, I started smelling the herbs mixing with the soup.
Are you cooking it with the lid on or off?
Yeah, the lid on.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw you did the same thing, so you're good.
Yep.
So
It's
as
just
far
more
as
efficient, but I like your lid. I open this too much. But if you have a glass one like this, you can look at it.
right. So as far as for now, as you can see, I mean, you can try to check if the chickpeas are cooked by just, putting one and see if it smashes a little bit. Let me put the lid back here. We grab, because we don't put too much lentils and we don't put too much chickpeas. Okay, so mine smashed like you see here. So it means
And
that
do you serve this over rice, or what did you say you serve it with?
no, it's a soup. You don't serve it over anything.
Okay.
Yeah, the rice we added. So it's a very nutritional soup. It has protein. It has bunch of vitamins. I mean, cilantro, parsley. They are antioxidants. There is the celery. There is chickpeas that has protein. There is, if you put meat, it has protein, of course. And then the spices, the ginger, the cinnamon are all good for you. So, and it helps during Ramadan because it gives you all that energy at once. So now that it is simmering, as you can see, I'm gonna reduce the heat a little bit. So this step is very important. So I'm going to be adding our mixture to the soup. Again, the amount of mixture depends on how much you are making in terms of soup. So I'm going to start adding and mixing at the same time because we don't want it to crumble. And we need to be very careful when we do this because we really don't want to have crumbles in our soup. So we're mixing. And it started thickening already a little bit. And again, sometimes you feel like it's not thick enough, and the reason is that because the flour we have absorbs the liquid more than what we want, and it does not help with the thickening. So like mine right now, it's still very liquidy, so I'm increasing the heat a little bit to help that flour cook. We need to keep stirring because we don't want the flour either to be stuck at the bottom of the pan and start burning. So while I'm mixing, it is thicker differently than earlier. And then the thickness depends on how you want it or how you like it. For example, if you have too much chickpeas or too much lentils and you are, of course, adding rice after that, it's gonna be too thick. So I do not advise to put a lot of flour mixture. Now I'm gonna just that I stirred, I'm gonna just let it simmer a little bit again to help that flour cook. But at the same time, I will be watching it to avoid any burning at the bottom. So from time to time, I'm gonna start stirring. You can taste if you feel like you need to add more salt. I have a feeling that I need a little bit more salt and a little bit more black pepper. Just a little bit. For example, or I feel like you may need a little bit more water because your soup is a little more dense and you added flour, so it will thicken too much. It needs to be.
Yeah, mine is very thick. Yeah.
Yes, because I think you did put a lot of chickpeas and lentils maybe. Plus you will have to add rice after that. It will really get very thick. So yes, add a little bit of water as you did now. Mix and see the consistency. If you like it, then keep adding water if you feel like it's too too thick
So
still.
you want it like medium thickness, right? You said?
Right. Yes. So mine, I mean, I feel like it's the right consistency. It's not that watery and it's not that thick. I'm gonna add the rice. Let's remember that the rice has starch, so it will release more starch and it will help thicken it even more. So I'm putting like a handful of rice that I just washed. You cannot, I mean,
So you're putting rice that's not cooked in.
no, not cooked. No,
So
no,
right.
not
So it'll
cooked.
need another like 20 minutes to cook. Yeah.
Not really. It cooks faster than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but as far as for now, I'm gonna let it cook for the next 5 minutes. What you can do now, if you want to, I mean, if you like the ghee butter, you can add a small spoon. Taste to taste, honestly, like this, just a little bit for extra flavor. At the same time, I'm gonna grab an egg.
Yeah, I'm trying to use up the store bought because it doesn't taste as good as my homemade, and I want to use it up.
Yeah, that's enough. I grabbed an egg. I'm gonna leave it here for now. I'm just gonna mix and see, I'm mixing the rice stuck a little bit at the bottom, so I'm gonna give it a stir. Meanwhile, mixing helps incorporate the ghee butter. Let me do it. See, it's got the right consistency. It's not that, liquidy and not that thick. I'm letting the rice cook right now. And it's gonna even increase that thickness a little bit. I'm gonna put the lids back on.
So I know my lamb had a little fat with it, so I didn't worry very much about oil. But if you use lean meat, I think you would probably want to add more oil or more ghee to it, I would think.
I mean, the ghee is for the flavor. It's not for the oiliness of the soup. So this is why you put just a
Oh,
little bit to give the flavor. Your meat, as far as for now, if you want, you can take it out and cut it small squares and then put the meat
oh yeah.
back to the pan. Yeah.
This cutting board was my meat cutting board, so I want to use the same one.
I mean, all the meat you have, if you have it big pieces, it's better to take it out and cut it small pieces. It needs to be small squares.
Yeah, most of it I cut small, but yeah, of course, some of this was still stuck to the bone.
Yeah,
But yeah, now that it's cooked, I can cut a little more off.
that's true. Give it a stir again just to make sure the flour doesn't stick and the rice doesn't stick, because the rice also released the starch and it will start sticking to the bottom of the pan. Now, actually, my soup is at the right consistency, so I'm reducing the heat and letting the rice cook. Thus, I'm gonna put it at low heat. I don't want it to simmer anymore. I just want it to cook, especially for the rice.
So if you make this during Ramadan, is it hard to cook while you're not eating?
No, honestly, it is not. First of all, we got used to it. We grew up that way. I mean, I saw my mom, my aunts, my grandmother all cooking during Ramadan. There is no issue. When we were at the age where we had to start fasting as well, I used to help my mom in the kitchen. So it's a process that we learn through time. Um, And normally, just the first few days where you feel like it's a little hard to fast, because your body is not used to it still.
Right.
But it isn't, I mean, it's not the fact that you're hungry, it's the fact that your body recognize that you did not eat, and you start feeling weak and you start having a headache. But the fact that you're cooking and you're not eating, it does not bother me or bother people I know, honestly. You don't, you do not crave it. You do not feel like you want to eat it right away. I mean, because deep inside, it's a process, it's a journey, so you don't think about it as being, some.
So I years ago started a tradition of my own where the first 2 days of every month I don't eat, and then 3 nights. So it's like 60 hours.
You don't eat at
And
all for 3 days?
correct. Now, if I'm working, I will take some juice or something so I am not, if I'm
Dehydrated?
physically outside working, and then I drink liquids.
Okay.
But the idea was for me, it would make the whole system have a rest. And I
Yes.
think the main thing it taught me is how often I will pick up something and eat it without thinking.
Right.
Like my first morning, I will wake up and I know this is the day I'm supposed to fast, and I will go and go get a snack. I'll go get some nuts or go get a cracker, and it happens very often. I forget, and then I'm like, oh, I am fasting today. That you eat without thinking.
Right. And that
so for
happens.
me, I learned,
Yes.
yeah, that food is important, and you have to learn to enjoy the food as you're eating it.
Yes,
Not
that's true.
eat without thinking.
I mean, it happens to
Yeah.
us, like you're cooking and you forgot and you fry something. It does happen to us when we're fasting during Ramadan. I mean, but the whole purpose of Ramadan is to be compassionate with people that don't have much, to feel people that starve. In order for you to give more during the year. And it comes every year as a remembrance of those people suffering. Um, and also, it's an exercise for the soul, an exercise of abstinence, not only from food, but from bad habits, from bad behaviors. It disciplines, it teaches discipline in a lot of ways. And also, it's a natural way to detoxify your body. So Ramadan is not about a lot of food. When you break the fasting, is to choose the right food for you and help your body detox. During Ramadan, and the fact that we fast for at least 30 days, it helps the body to kill cancer cells that the body may have developed during the year for any reason. So the fact that we fast and your body enters into starvation and tries to, take, eat from the fat of your body and regenerate the cells and all that process, it kills the cancer cells that can be, that have been maybe created within that year before Ramadan. So a lot of people take it as a month where with new resolution, if they wanna, lose weight or start new habit, it's the month to that helps with that specifically.
Yeah. I know that after I fast just for a couple days, if I eat bad food, I get sick. My body is more sensitive.
Right.
So I have to eat, I have to eat healthy. Now I can eat, I can go from not eating to eating a lot, no problem.
Right.
But if I eat not healthy food, my body's like, no, I know that's not good.
Exactly. So now I feel like, it's got the right, thickness. see, the soup got the right thickness. The rice is almost cooked. So what I'm going to do now is add the rest of my cilantro, parsley, and celery. It's gonna allow the greens to cook for a little bit of time, like about next 5 to 10 minutes, and they will release all the water and juices, and it will help the soup be fresh enough and have a strong flavor in terms of cilantro and parsley and celery. And it changes the color a little bit too. Give it more green color because at the beginning when we added the greens, they melted with the mixture of ingredients we added. But when we do it at the end, it stays as fresh as when you just cut them, and but it's tender and it gives you a better flavor. So I'm gonna put the lid back on this for about another 5 minutes before adding the egg.
Now, do you prefer doing rice or the what did you call it? The little pasta, the vermicelli?
Vermicelli, well, it depends. If you want, I mean, the rice adds more thickness. If you don't want to add a lot of flour, the rice definitely with its starch add more thickness. The vermicelli, it gives you a lighter texture. It doesn't really thicken much the soup, so you will need to rely on the flour.
Have you ever used then what do you call it? Rice flour. It's just powdered rice to thicken.
Honestly, I never did. I always stick to the traditional recipe.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that some people in Morocco, instead of putting flour, the white flour, they put um, wheat flour. Or for those who don't want to put flour at all, they boil with the soup some whole carrots and whole potatoes, and then they blend them and puree them like baby food. And then they add
Oh,
them.
okay, and then put them back in to thicken.
Yeah. So yes, exactly. And I did it once. I really like it because
Well, of course, some people use cornstarch too for thickening.
yes, the cornstarch. The problem is it gives you it changes the flavor.
Yeah.
Mhm. So as far as for now, my soup is ready. It's not too thick and it's not too soft. So what I am going to do, and you just need one egg. It doesn't matter. I mean, for you, or I don't think 2 eggs would be a good idea. 1 egg should be enough.
Oh, okay.
And because I saw you had 2 eggs in there, so
Yeah, I'm the only one eating it right now. So you boiled it. Do you cook the egg and fry it, or do you put it in the soup?
so I used the same bowl here. So don't mind me using the same utensils, but the one that we've used the flour in. So I'm just gonna scramble the egg. Yeah, good. Where did you go? So I'm scrambling the egg. أجي حالك. And okay. Can you stir? I will pour the egg. Now, first of all, we scramble the egg. Then I'm gonna pour the egg and wait for the egg inside the soup for about 1 minute, not even, for about 10 to 20 seconds before you start stirring. Give it time to start cooking because you don't want it to change the taste of the soup. You don't want it to mix with the water. You want it to cook. So I'm giving it a few seconds here.
Thanks.
And increase the heat, same. Yes.
Okay.
I increase the heat a little bit to help it cook. Once you see it starts bubbling again, then you start stirring slowly. See, we want some egg threads like you see here. Increase the heat a little bit. Or let it boil a little bit for the egg to cook. From until 10 or 2 or 15, and then start stirring.
That's
Once it-
interesting. That's like how you make egg drop soup, but just in a very liquid. This is a thicker,
Yeah, so when you feel
very
like,
gentle.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, try to stir it now.
no, that's still soft there, but here it's not.
I mean, you need
There.
to, you need to stir it from the bottom, not from the top.
Okay, then instead with the fork, I will use. Oops.
And I'm sorry, I was doing dishes. Did you beat the egg?
Yes, I did beat the
Yeah.
egg. I poured it in the soup. I waited about 15 to 20 seconds.
And you're
And
doing this after your rice is cooked, right?
yes, and then I
Oh.
left it in for 15 to 20 seconds just for me to make sure the egg starts cooking before I stir. Because if I stir right away when I pour it in the soup, it's gonna mix with the soup liquid, and I don't want that. I want threads to form.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, and as far as for now, if you feel like your soup is a little too thick, like I do, I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to give it the right consistency.
And does anything get added to the egg? Salt, pepper, any seasoning or anything?
No, nothing.
Okay.
One egg should be fine. And or again, you can you can still add more water if you feel like yours is too thick. And you can add more eggs, whatever, suit your taste.
Yours
Well,
seems less red than yours.
yes. Well, technically mine is ready, so I just turned off the heat.
And then we're gonna
Put it as is.
All right. Oh yeah. I wanted to taste it.
If you feel like it's missing more tomato paste, you can add more tomato paste just before you add it. Put it in a bowl with some water to liquid it and then add it.
Oh, that has a lot of flavor. Oh wow.
How far you
My
like it?
shirt wanted some too.
How far you like it, or
I like it. It has a lot of flavor. So,
well, mine is
all right,
ready.
let me.
I'm just gonna put the lids back in because the crust can form a little bit on the top since we have flour in the soup. I don't want that. We have too much. Oh, 4. I have 4. 5. Can you put it back? Well, I'll show you how we serve them. Give me one.
Time to get a bowl out.
I forgot to tell you something very important. That to this soup, you can add a squeeze of lemon. You can add a squeeze of lemon to the soup. Or if you're worried that maybe your guest will not enjoy having lemony taste into the soup, we usually have small plates that have some lemon.
Oh, so you serve it with a slice of lemon on the side if people want to put their own lemon.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm.
So I still have some Ramadan treats. So I still have almond spring roll.
Oh yeah, can you take a picture of what your plate looks like? Because I know you know how to make plates look nice.
Yes, I will. And I still have some chickpea, which is the cookies that we eat when we break the fasting, and some dates. This is, I mean, even if you make it during the year, a date with harira and lemon, it's a must. Here is the cookies that we have during Ramadan. It's specific for Morocco. It is made with almond powder, sesame powder, and anise star, and fennel seeds, saffron, and a bunch of other stuff. Here it's almond paste. I mean, it's an almond spring rolls, and inside it's almond powder mixed with orange blossom water, honey, and other spices. And it's fried and
That is
dipped in honey. And this one is also fried and dipped in honey.
You know how to make that? Can you come on again and teach us?
I can, but it's gonna be during before Ramadan, because I'm not planning to make it before then, because it really takes a long.
It's a lot of work there.
Yes, it takes a long time to make. Let me grab my.
I would have to buy a lot of that stuff special. I think I still have some orange blossom water.
Yes, you should. You should.
I have rose water. Yep. Let's see. Yep, here's orange blossom. I've got orange blossom and rose water.
I think you still have it from last time when we made the fruit salad. So I am going to serve this. Mix it a little bit. Turn it like that.
All right. Anybody have any? I think we're about wrapping up. Anybody have any final questions or something you want to share? This is.
Go ahead. Ask me any question you have.
Maybe. And you
Did
said
you
there's
put
nobody ever
lemon?
makes a version of this that's vegetarian.
No, we
It
do
would
make
seem
it
like it'd be hard.
No, we do make it vegetarian. It can be either vegetarian, either with lamb, either with beef, but never with chicken because it will never taste the
Okay.
same. Like me, grab a knife.
And it's usually chunks of beef. It would never be ground beef.
Never ground beef. It's not gonna taste the same.
And does it matter the cut of beef?
No, it just needs to be cut small pieces for it to cook fast with the soup, along with the soup.
Oh my goodness.
Did you put lemon on it, or?
Oh, I didn't know.
You're missing out. Mine is almost done. I'll show it to you guys.
Sounds good. And or since yours is very thick, you can always add water and add more spices to even it. Because it needs to be
Yeah,
really,
it's pretty thick.
yeah, it's very thick. It needs really to be, let me show you here. See the consistency? There is more liquid to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I'm proud of it. It's very good for a first time.
Yeah, mine looks more like ours too.
So it's the water. You can add more water, Lulu, and
A little more tomato.
I mean, add the water first and see if it will be like really light color. Then you can add more tomatoes. Since you're gonna add water, add more salt, pepper, more ginger, and a little bit of cinnamon, um, just to to cover up the fact that you added more water to balance it more. Because as I said, I mean, you should not put too much chickpeas and not too much lentils. Just a handful of each or two handful. Because it's not,
Yeah, I think that was my main thing is I put too much lentils.
yes, it's because we don't want it to be, too much chickpeas and too much lentils gonna give you gases and stuff like that. And the purpose here is to give you vitamin, is to give you energy and to give you protein and not for you to, it's not like a stew, it's really a soup.
Yeah, I would say the only thing is I'm not sure if the eggs gave it anything extra. But I don't know.
Maybe not it. Maybe
you
not
beat-
in flavor, but in protein.
I mean, he
Well,
beats
that's true. Protein,
side,
but it also thickened it a little bit, and
right?
Looks pretty.
it doesn't have much. It doesn't have much fat, so the egg adds. Yolk is all fat, so.
Right.
Yep. So it has this right here has like very little fat in it. So. All right.
Well, this is our final plate. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe and you would be sharing it and also making it in the future. Of course, if you have any questions, feel always free to email.
I absolutely love chickpeas and lentils, so I will definitely be making this again.
Well, that's good.
And
I'm glad.
next time I will make sure I have dried lentils. I either have way too many dried lentils or none because I cook them so much.
I understand, but that's no problem.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, no problem. Anytime. I will take a picture and send it over to you, of course.